Morning and welcome to the latest edition of the Diversity Matters Diversity and Inclusion on Air podcast. This program is a program of the Association of the American Veterinary Medical Colleges. The program is designed to foster discussions about diversity and inclusion in all of its different ways in veterinary medicine. We are really excited today to be broadcasting live from Lincoln Memorial University, and my guest today is Dr. Randy Evans, Associate Dean for Career Services and Professional Development. Right?
Correct. Yes, that's
all
right.
Right, great. And so I have been here for a day. I'll be here all day today as well, working with some faculty later. It has been beautiful. I've been on the road a lot the last few weeks, so I've missed my fall foliage kind of touring that I normally do in the fall, but I got it all squeezed into 2 days here in Appalachia. It's gorgeous, fresh air, beautiful, beautiful, wonderful people. So today we're going to actually chat with Randy a bit about Appalachia. And so as is our custom on the show, I like to give my guests an opportunity to tell us a little bit about themselves before we dive into the questions. So Randy, why don't you share a little bit?
Sure. So I grew up in southeast Kentucky, a little town called Millsboro. At the time it had about 12,000 people. And I went to undergrad at the University of Kentucky, and after I left University of Kentucky, I was accepted at Auburn College of Veterinary Medicine. After I finished at Auburn, I went to Nashville for 6 months, and then I came back to Harrogate to work in a mixed animal practice. I received the opportunity to come and work at Lincoln Memorial University in the veterinary technology program. That was in July of 1989, so I've been here for about 28 years now.
Wow.
So I like to tell people that I've had more titles than a 67 Buick while I've been here, because I've been involved with a lot of different programs in allied health and, of course, now with the veterinary college.
Sure. So it's really cool. Not too many people kind of get to come back to work so close to home, though. So that's been great. So the Appalachian region is really quite huge. It goes all the way from kind of the deep southeast, kind of Georgia.
It starts in the northeast portion of Mississippi and stretches all the way up to the southern areas in New York State.
Oh, wow. So it just kind of has a whole band right up that region.
Follows Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah. So tell us about Appalachia.
So Appalachia includes about 25 million people.
Oh, wow.
There's about 420 counties counted into the Appalachia Regional Commission. And, of course, it covers about 13 states. My students from West Virginia like to say that it's the only state that's entirely found within ARC. So it's a great place to live. About 42% of Appalachia is rural compared to 20-21% in the rest of the United States. But in central Appalachia, it's about 83% rural.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So a lot of interesting people, interesting culture, different cuisine, different way of speaking, very colorful language here. Of course, arts and crafts are very important to the region. So it's just very family oriented and a great place to be.
All right, great. So 83% of central Appalachia is rural.
Right.
So tell us about, I guess, agriculture in the region then.
Well, for a long time, people were dependent upon farming, especially small hobby farms.
Okay.
Still today, about 62% of farms are 100 acres or less. So it's not like nationally where there's large feedlots in the Midwest. It's more small farms. Over the last few years, people have stopped growing tobacco.
Okay.
And so now they're needing another source of income. So one of the programs we're trying to help local farmers realize is that land you're using for tobacco, maybe you could put small ruminants or cattle or other animals on there and make a little money. People in Appalachia are a little bit reserved about when strangers come in, and that dates back to the 40s and 50s when some of the large corporations from the Northeast came and bought land, pennies on the dollar, and then people had to turn around and work that land in order to make money. And the way they were paid was through script. Maybe working in a coal mine, you get script, and you have to go to the company store and buy the products there. So there is some distrust about When strangers show up, especially, the government says we're here to help you. There's going to be some reservations
A little
there.
side eye.
But that's one of the things we talk to our students about when they come
Uh-huh.
into our program, the ways to help them become more accustomed to the Appalachia culture.
Sure.
But once you make friends with someone from Appalachia, they're very loyal and they're going to stick with you.
All right.
So you're just like family at that point.
Okay. So what about the need for veterinarians in Appalachia? So we've got, in that whole band that you described, there's quite a lot of schools kind of on the edges. Of course,
Right.
LMU and Tennessee and Knoxville are kind of right, in the hub.
Right.
But tell us a little about with the move away from tobacco and now kind of moving more into small farming. It would seem that the need for veterinary medicine is going up. Is
Right. So we started a Center for Animal and Human Health in Appalachia a few years ago. We've had 3 national conferences thus far, but we are the 30th veterinary college in the United States. There's 6 veterinary colleges located within the Appalachia region. 2, as you mentioned, are in central Appalachia, but we're the only veterinary college that has Appalachia mentioned in our mission statement. So we really try to reach out to the Appalachia students. This area is very underserved as far as the number of veterinarians. So we're trying to help students come in and realize, if we recruit students from Appalachia, they're more likely to go back to Appalachia or to a rural community.
Sure.
So in our studies with our Center for Animal Health and Human Health in Appalachia, we found out that there's about 7,200 practicing veterinarians in the region. On average, there's about 8 employees at each practice, so that would make about 57,000 different jobs, which brings in $2.3 billion to the economy. But one of our big questions was, where are the underserved areas? Because in rural Appalachia, we've identified that probably 75% of these counties don't have enough veterinary services. And so if we can help to fill those needs, and the other veterinary colleges can help the students come back to Appalachia or, locate to Appalachia, that's going to really help a lot. So that's what we're looking at and trying to build up. So in our studies, we found out there's probably a need for about 1,900 more veterinarians in the Appalachia region if we can attract those, and that's about a $621 million loss that we're seeing at this point. So that would be over 15,000 jobs. If we can fill these veterinary positions that have been identified in that 75% of the rural Appalachia counties, that would be a big economic and cultural boost to our area.
Sure. Wow. So, I guess the veterinarians that are already in the region, are they, certainly I'm guessing that are they more large animal or mixed or small animal? Kind of what is there a specific need for a specific practice type, or is it we'll take come on down to Appalachia?
We'll take whatever type of veterinarians that we can have. Of course, most of the students that are graduating, they're interested in small animal practice, but there are several positions out there for mixed animal practitioners. There's small animal practices that are looking for veterinarians, but also mixed animal practice. I think it's a little bit more difficult. Someone that wants to go strictly large animal, because of the geographic region of Appalachia. The animals are more dispersed. It's a very mountainous region. So in my mind, what I've thought about is if we could have regional veterinary practices. For instance, the model that we have in Harrogate, when I came here, we had the central practice in Harrogate and then a satellite practice in Virginia about 30 miles away, and then one in La Follette, Tennessee. But we all lived in this area, and then we would just cover those 3 practices. And if we could find more veterinary technicians, that would help as far as that second level of care for animals. So the need is definitely there. And as I said, we're wanting to recruit students from Appalachia. Our first 3 classes, we averaged between 25 to 30% Appalachia students. This class that we most recently admitted was about 45% Appalachia. So that was a big jump. And even in that class, the students were represented from 27 different states. We had one student or two students from Puerto Rico and one from Hawaii. So,
Wow, yeah.
so it's very interesting, the mixture and everybody coming together with their
Yeah.
cultures and learning from each other.
All right. So, I didn't know until I got here that LMU also has a vet tech program, and so you guys have the engine kind of to produce both right here, and so that's really exciting. So, tell us a little bit about some of the are there unique concerns? I mean, clearly there's a need, there's the workforce need, and then there's certainly an economic need. I mean, that's a huge amount of money that is kind of being lost in the region. But with the emergence of the small kind of boutique farms, are there specific kind of needs? I mean, especially when you're talking about such a huge region and that geographic disbursement. I mean, I'm guessing there are a lot of trucks. I've seen a lot.
So, some of our issues that we're dealing with are the same, across veterinary medicine, as far as making sure the students, when they do locate in Appalachia town or region, they make a decent salary that can support their family. We're always trying to help them, even the students that move here, try to help their spouses or significant others find a place of employment. Of course, student debt is always on our mind. We're trying to keep our tuition as low as possible and making sure that we don't do things that's going to add to that debt. So that's some of the things that we're looking at with these students. And always quality of life is important to us. As I said, I grew up in southeast Kentucky. When I was young, we did not even have a veterinarian in the county.
Wow.
As I got older, there was a veterinarian moved in and started a small animal practice. But actually, there was a local gentleman that was in D-Day. He was a medic in D-Day, and so everybody would take their animals to this man. His name was Dewey Fee, in order to get animal care. And then in the mid-'70s, Dr. Robertson graduated from Auburn and came here, and he actually covered 8 counties as far as large animal practice. So he was on the road all the time, but he loved it and loved interacting with the people. So there's definitely a need and a demand for veterinary services. It's just a matter of getting the students or graduates located, and it's not just them working in a practice. They should get involved in the community, and they're going to support those areas not only professionally but economically, and in all ways they need to be embedded in the community.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges? I mean, you seem to actually be pulling students from all over. That is the issue, but. What are some of the biggest challenges, I guess, to recruiting students to the region?
Well, we have several interview days, and when the students show up, because we are in Appalachia, and some of the stereotypes of people in Appalachia, they don't know what they're going to find when they get here. But LMU has always emphasized the health sciences over the last 10 or 15 years. That's what our emphasis has been in technology. So we try to really have high-tech things available for the students as far as lecture and labs. And so that's some of the challenges that we face. But, just like other parts of the nation, the opioid crisis is a big concern of ours, and making sure that the workforce is there too. Not only the veterinarians, but also that people has had some problems, help them get rehabilitated and then be ready to work.
Well, I mean, it seems. I mean, if you're an outdoorsy type, this is the place for you.
So we're right on the edge of the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park. There's actually 3 state parks within the region, and when people ask, where is LMU? When we first started, because it's got Lincoln in it, people thought we were in Nebraska. So we always have to talk about the location, but we'll tell people that inquire that we're in the corner of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. And we literally are, because 1 mile from campus you're in Kentucky, and going another mile you're in Virginia. So we are located right there in the corner.
Well, you've got a big national park right here, and there's a trail apparently, I guess, that runs a long way.
Right. Yes. So
So I know that there's lots of opportunities for hiking and biking and running and all kinds of things. And I'm a city girl, so and while I have seen lots and lots of wildlife, my mother is from a really rural area. I still was a bit shocked to see the buffalo on the side of the road yesterday when I was driving by.
Right.
So I'm assuming those are there was a gate. So I'm assuming they were not wild.
Right. Right. So, students that are from larger cities, some of those students have decided that they want to stay in the area because they love it so much, and we do try to treat them like family.
Yeah.
That's one of the things they notice is the friendliness of the people in the area. And, of course, the veterinary college, I always tell our students that we're not the entertainment capital of the world, but we are a very safe place, and we're going to deliver a good veterinary curricula for them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I posted some pictures last night from my drive-in, and I posted a picture. I drove in from the farm this morning, and I posted a great picture when I got to the Gap and said my commute was better than yours. So, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the farm facility that you all have? I had a great chance I stayed out there last night and toured yesterday. It's just gorgeous.
So I like to tell people that our veterinary college, it didn't start from scratch. It started from itch, because itch comes before scratch. So we did have the veterinary technology program here. And then after the NAVMEC conferences in 2010, that's what really got us to thinking about, we'd be a great place for a veterinary college. And since we don't have the population base, we knew that we couldn't build a veterinary teaching hospital here. So that's why we used the distributed model. But we like to say it's a hybrid distributed model, because we have 3 different sites where all of our students go during the 4th year. One is a large animal shelter in Knoxville called Young Williams. Also, all of our students rotate through our facilities in Virginia at our DeBus Veterinary Teaching Center, and also at the University of Kentucky, the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab there. And so we have those core sites, and then, of course, the students, in a lot of ways, they can set their own path during that 4th year as far as what they're interested in. We don't actually have tracking. But as we started building up the veterinary college, excuse me, we realized, we needed a good place for training the clinical skills, communications, and also our One Health concept. And so Dr. Pete DeBusk, who's the chairman of the board of trustees here, had a farm in Virginia, which he turned over to us. And so we've built a lot of facilities there, and it's just, first-class facilities as far as anatomy and the clinical skills building and all that. So
I had a chance to go into the every school now is developing these the clinical skills kind of these labs for students to practice and learn different kinds of skills. But I had a chance to also kind of step into, I guess, what seemed kind of like a mad scientist space there, kind of behind the scenes, and see how you all make some of these models that it was just all kinds of cool but kind of weird things for a non-veterinarian.
So our, we have these 3 threads that run through all of our curricula. One of them is the clinical skills. So our students get exposure to clinical skills from the very first week that they're here on campus. So we let them learn on the models first, and then they transfer that over to the live animals. Also, communications is very important to us. We have a large group of standardized patients, local community people that help the students through these different scenarios to learn how to communicate with clients, and also the One Health, because we have Dr. Gary Rogan, who's very famous for his One Health curricula, and so he's a great expert, and his team helps with the One Health. But one of the things that we do in our clinical skills, we actually do build our own models. So we've got a full-time person that builds these models for us, and the faculty and staff tell Bill, who builds our models, what we want, and we just make adjustments along the way. And one of our students was recently up for a national award as far as model that he helped create. So,
Oh, wow.
So it's an innovative place and a great place.
Yeah,
to learn and to have fun too.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff in there. So, so getting back to, I guess, about the region, what would you like people to know about Appalachia? Appalachia has clearly been, and it is Appalachia, not Appalachia, right? And so, it's certainly been a region that has been in the news a lot in the last year to 18 months or so. Coal mining, the loss of jobs, changing in industry, and all of those kinds of things. And certainly there's also been a big book written about Appalachian culture, at least from one person's narrative, Hillbilly Elegy. But, those are kind of those big picture kind of views of kind of what the rest of us outside of the region see and hear about the region. What would you like people to know about Appalachia?
Well, one of the results of what happened in the 40s and 50s, a lot of people, because coal mining, they started more mechanization. Some people lost their job at that point, and other jobs that started being hard to find in the 50s, people started migrating to the north. And so there was like a hidden minority of what's called urban Appalachia people. There's a lot around Cincinnati, Dayton, Indianapolis, Detroit, those type of areas. And I've got family that moved north like that, and they tend to stay in the same region, and they cluster together because family is very important in Appalachia. So I just think the people of Appalachia, they're very loving, very family oriented. We do have a lot of arts and crafts. People have a colorful language. Oftentimes people say things like, I'm more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Those type of things. And so sometimes we'll use terminology, and we have to help our students when they get into clinics to understand some of the terms that people say. For instance, one of my friends went into an exam room, and this veterinarian was from another area of the state of Kentucky, but the owner said that the dog had lost its mouth. And so she had to step out of the room and ask the other veterinarian, who was her husband, what that meant. It just meant it couldn't bark, so it lost its mouth. And sometimes people say things like, instead of asking things directly, oftentimes indirect questions will be asked. So maybe on a Monday morning you come in, you're not going to ask someone, what did you do this weekend? Because, they have to tell you. It's like, tell me what you did. But it may say something, well, did you have a good weekend? That gives them a choice to either give specific answers or a general, answer. And so those type of things happen when you get into an exam room with people in Appalachia where, like I said, once you build up their trust, they're going to stick with you. But they are a little bit reserved about when strangers or someone that they don't know. But once they get to know you, it's great, and it's just a wonderful place.
So I'm sure that the practice that students get really helps, but are there other things that you all do here that help them learn how to engender trust in the community? Because that's a skill, I think, that will serve them wherever they go, right? And so are there things that you all focus on in kind of helping them learn? One, there's this kind of language and kind of the language of idioms that are specific to every region, because some of those things, I'm from Richmond, Central Virginia, so just outside of Appalachia, but some of those things are also, for me, I consider them Southern kind of, things that we would say, the cat with, or, oh goodness, we could have a whole, idiom contest of things that I've probably grown up with. But that reservedness isn't quite the same outside, at least in some parts of the Southeast, where folks are, let's say, I don't want to say nosy, but curious about what's going on in everyone else's business. So how do you help students kind of learn that? I mean, one is just practice and being able to ask questions, but are there things that you all kind of do even in orientation that kind of help them adjust?
Yes. I get to speak to the incoming class about
Uh-huh.
Appalachia culture and, things to expect from the people.
Yeah.
We have a lot of community events
Great.
recently, or last month we had a Farm and Family Day,
Uh-huh.
and there were hundreds of people from the community that came
Oh,
and
that's great.
interacted with our students. We have students that go out to local schools, because that's part of our recruitment strategy is, try to get a diverse group of students interested in veterinary medicine. So our students will go to elementary schools and talk about veterinary medicine and what our program's like. And one of the things we're interested in doing is reaching out to high school students and middle school age students. Our university, one of our board of trustee members owns a company that does a lot of analysis, and he identified over 200 words that children from Appalachia don't recognize on SAT and ACT scores.
Oh, wow.
So we try to, help bridge that
That
communication gap. And so our students, they just love living here, and like I said, they like the friendliness and just the closeness that we have. Oftentimes our faculty and staff will make videos and different things. For instance, while the students are out on their clinical rotations, to try to encourage them and get them ready for the NAVLE test, which is very important. So there is a closeness and a bond there between our faculty and staff and the students.
Great. When you said the video, it also reminded me of that. Now, is this an annual thing? And we'll have to post the video of these famed LMU vet school videos that feature the dean.
Yes. So we all get involved in that.
Those are awesome.
Oh, thank you. We just released 2 videos to the 4th-year students this week, and so we showed them to the other 3 classes also. They really loved them also. So our staff made one, and then the faculty got together and made one just to try to encourage them. NAVLE's around the corner, so make sure you study. We got a lot of confidence that you're going to do well.
They're going to do great.
Yes.
Yeah, these videos are awesome. There's singing, there's rapping, there's dancing. Like, they are really, they're really a hoot. So it seems like you guys have a really good time here.
Yes.
So what else should people know about LMU? I mean, this is one of our newest schools. It came up the same year that Midwestern came in, and I do a lot of research on applicants, and certainly it seemed like you all had no problem kind of drawing the attention of applicants who were interested in looking at additional options, and in coming to the region as well. It certainly was a great opportunity for students in the region, but also for students, for all of the students in the U.S. So what else should people know about LMU?
Well, LMU started in 1897. The reason that LMU came into existence was at the end of the Civil War. There was a General O.O. Howard who was speaking to Lincoln, and Lincoln said, "If I don't make it, through this war," he said, "I want to do something for the people of Northeast Tennessee." And so General Howard remembered that promise to Lincoln, and he was passing through here and stopped on his way to Chattanooga. Remembered what he had told Lincoln, and so he was actually the founder of LMU, along with some local community people. Interesting, General Howard was also the founder of Howard University in Washington, D.C., so this one general, he started 2 great universities. And I didn't realize this until a few years ago, but he actually lost one of his hands in the war.
Oh, my.
He had another general friend that lost the opposite hand, so he told his friend they just needed to buy 1 pair of gloves and share that. So he was a great man. And through the years, LMU was a liberal arts college, and then about 15 years ago, we became very interested in the health sciences. We already had a very good nursing program, and veterinary technology had started in 1985. But in the last 10 years, we've added osteopathic medical school, nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist. Also, we've added a law school, physician assistance program, and then, of course, the veterinary college. So we do emphasize the One Health concept. There's a lot of integration between our college and the medical school and all the health sciences. So So I think that's one of the things that attracts the students here,
Yeah.
is the diverse health sciences that we have, and our students have, or excuse me, our graduates have had a lot of success finding jobs when they leave here.
All right. Well, great.
So we're excited have our first graduating class next May, and then get the graduates out there and just see where they
end up
land.
located. Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll stay in Appalachia and
Yes, we
do
hope
great
that a
work.
lot will.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to kind of chat a bit about the region and LMU. This has been a great visit for me.
Thank you.
And I look forward to coming back. And yeah, this has been great. And I'll definitely come in the fall because it's just so gorgeous here, and the weather is great too.
Yes. So we like to do a lot of interviews in the fall because, you know, the students, when they come in for an interview, they're trying to sell themselves, but we're also selling our program because we're new, and we just think we have a lot of great things to offer. And you know, I think veterinary medicine is the greatest career there is. It's just so many opportunities that students have.
Yeah, well, it's vet med has definitely been great for me. I'm not a veterinarian, but I get to hang out with you all for the last 20 some odd years. So it's been wonderful. So I think that anything else you want to share?
I just think that our veterinary college and other veterinary colleges are doing a great service, and we're trying to fill that need for the Appalachia region. Since, you know, as I said, 75% of rural areas in Appalachia, they need veterinary service. And so we're just trying to help our students understand how they can put together a good business plan. Our CAHA, which is the Center for Animal Health and Human Health in Appalachia, they can actually earn a rural veterinary medicine certificate from us. And so we focus on a good business model to help them set up a practice, and that way they'll be successful.
Okay, well, great.
We're excited about our affiliation with the University of Kentucky.
Sure. All right.
Of course, me being from Kentucky, I
really,
love that
there's a lot of pride there.
Yes.
There's a lot of pride there.
Right.
Well, we will definitely make sure that we include some of this other information about some of the other some of the research that's going on in the region, and some information about the region in the show notes. And we'll post those also on our podcast Facebook page, so that people have a real opportunity to learn more about what's going on in the region. So
thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you
for visiting us.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to sit down and chat with you this morning.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back in a few weeks with another episode of the podcast. Until then, I guess happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving is coming up. And we will see everyone soon. Thank you.
Thank you.